About a month ago, I decided to try to get the complete base set of Pokemon cards, starting with only $100. In the last episode, I listed almost 200 Pokemon cards on eBay, and I kept around 50 for the collection. Over the last 2 weeks or so, I noticed how quickly Pokemon cards can sell. Here's everything that sold. There's quite a bit. Dead or Alive 4 sold for about $14 after eBay fees. Morph sold for around $16. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City for roughly $9.50. The Weekend Kissland CD sold for around $12 after fees. And these are all of the Pokemon cards that sold. As you can see, there's a lot of them. Besides everything that you just saw, these also sold. Oh, and then there's these games and CDs that sold too. I just don't really think there's time to talk about each individual sale, or this episode would only start at the 8-minute mark or something. So after calculating the shipping and eBay fees for all 44 items that sold, and taking into account that we had $23.88 left over from episode 2, we're now starting this episode with a budget of $178. Now, even though we've added a good amount of cards to the collection, I can't help but feel disappointed. We only have one holo. There's a ton of holos left to get, and, well, they're not cheap. So I'm really hoping to pick up a few holos this episode. If I can't get any, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can at least get the starter Pokemon. I had this hope that when I started this series, that my first few cards I'd get would be Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Pikachu. You know, just like in the games and on TV. But yeah, didn't happen. Well, at least I got Bulbasaur and Charmander in episode 2. Alright, no time to complain. We found something on Marketplace. 57 cards, $20. Now, once again, I can't really tell exactly which ones are base set cards, but this time, it really doesn't matter. Right off the bat, you see a Mewtwo Holo for Base Set 2, which sells for about $30 on eBay. Look, there's even a Base Set 2 Ninetales Holo. If there's some base set cards I can add to the collection, great. If not, I can probably list these cards pretty quickly now. After the 10 hours of torture I put myself through in the last episode, I can list cards a lot quicker now on eBay. And clearly, we could actually make some money on this deal. So, let's go. So we left, we saw, and we conquered. Check it out. He even threw in this French Base Set 1 theme deck box. I'm not really sure what it's worth. Hopefully it has some good value. Why does this guy have mostly Base Set 2 cards with a Base Set 1 box? Shouldn't he have a Base Set 2 box to go with his Base Set 2 cards? Doesn't matter. Great deal. Next step is to go through the cards and see which ones we can actually keep for the collection. Everything else, eBay time. Oh wait, there's actually one thing that's more important than that right now. I think some of you know what I'm talking about. So, after typing out the cards I'm missing and printing them out, I put them in the binder, and it's uglier! Alright, take 2. Let's try this again. Okay, that's better. I'm hoping these don't last too long in my binder anyways. And while I was making my collection look a little more presentable, this Dark Persian sold. Cool. Now, let's separate the Base Set 1 cards from the rest of the cards here to see what we can add to our collection. So going through them, we found 6 cards from Base Set 1. I think we have all of them though. Let's take a quick look at our new and improved binder, and there actually is a card that we can add. This rough-looking Dratini that's definitely seen some better days now has a new home. Welcome, buddy. A couple hours later, I had everything listed on eBay, but right before I finished listing everything, Driver sold for about $35 after shipping and eBay fees. I paid for the tracked shipping option for this game because when you ship an item on eBay without tracking, the buyer can just say he never received it, and you'll have no choice but to fully reimburse him for the order. So I'm not taking any chances on a $50 game. On eBay, the majority of buyers are good buyers who want to pay for an item and receive the item. Nice and simple. However, there are those who will try scamming you even for a $5 movie or game. What the fuck? However, there are those, let's call them special people, who do things a little differently. They'll sometimes tell you some pretty creative things to try to get their item for free. This happened to me about a month ago, and I didn't want to include it in my previous episodes because I really wanted to give this guy the benefit of the doubt here. So I waited about a month just to see if he'd respond. He never did. So I have to assume that he wasn't confused or thinking about another order or something. This guy on eBay sends me a message saying, "My wife and I watched this DVD on our HAL cruise in Alaska last week, but the acoustics were so poor on our cabin TV, we have no idea what happened." Then he puts his username, which I blocked out. So I apologize right away and say I'll send over a refund. Unfortunately, there are some scammers on eBay, so even if it's true that the DVD isn't really working properly, normally my policy is just to issue a refund and block the person from being able to buy anything from my shop. It's disappointing because maybe sometimes there actually is an issue with an item, but I just don't know for sure. And normally when there is an issue, the person will send me a picture or ask me for an email to send over a video or something. Anyways, as I'm going to send over a refund, I noticed something a little odd. He messaged me on September 25th saying last week in Alaska he watched the movie and it didn't work. I see the date of when I shipped the item. It says I shipped the item just one day before, on September 24th. How could he have tested the movie last week when I only shipped the movie yesterday? According to him, I shipped the movie on September 24th, and on September 18th or something, he tested the movie and it didn't work. Something is not adding up here. This is a little fishy. So I messaged the time traveler back to make sure he isn't messaging the wrong person or to make sure he didn't make a mistake in his message. And he never replied back to me. Been about a month and still no reply. So yeah, dude was talking out of his ass. Maybe he spam messages sellers the same thing to get free stuff from them, but accidentally copy and pasted his nonsense story to me a little too early. Anyways, we listed all the cards we just picked up on eBay, and it looks like after shipping and fees, we should get a little under $130. The thing that's great about selling cards is, unlike CDs or DVDs or video games, when the card sells, you don't have to clean it. There's no chance of it not working. You don't need to test them to see if they work. No need to resurface anything. Once it sells, you can get everything packed and shipped pretty quickly. Oh, and if someone buys one card from you, the shipping will be about $1. If someone buys 10 to 15 cards from you, the shipping is still going to be about $1. A pretty pleasant change for me, for sure. My personal favorite thing about selling cards is how little space the cards take up. You can just sort all of your stock in one binder, unlike with having tons and tons of games and movies and CDs. Here's how my basement looks right now since I started expanding my eBay shop. Fun fact, this right here, this used to be a pool table. Case in point, selling cards so far is great. While giving you guys the tour of my horrifically overpacked basement, I got a very important reply on my marketplace app. A seller and I were kind of going back and forth to find out what time he'd be available. We're getting 3 cards from him for $185. I was extremely excited with the cards we'll be adding here and was under the impression we would only get these cards a little bit later in the series. Hopefully he doesn't bail or get a better offer from someone else or something. He has canceled on me before though, so let's just hope he doesn't do that again. I really want these cards. First though, there was something that I wanted to fix. These are all the cards from this challenge that I've posted on eBay. No binder or anything, just chilling here on a piece of furniture next to my M CDs. I really don't like the way it looks, and I'm sure that if they were in a binder, it would not only be neater, but probably easier to find when one of them actually sells on eBay. So I'm going to get a second binder for my stock Pokemon cards. But this time, instead of just buying a binder with nothing inside, I'm going to hope to buy a binder with cards already inside. And well, you guys know the drill. If there's base cards we need, they're keepers. If not, I'm sure eBay will know what to do with them. So a few days have come and gone, and while looking for a good binder deal with some cards and trying to finalize everything with the seller for our 3 mystery cards here, a few more orders came in. And lo and behold, a few of them are Pokemon cards. Again, let's look at the breakdown of Pokemon card sales over the last couple weeks. Since posting the 189 Pokemon cards on eBay, after 2 weeks, 34 of them sold. So after only 2 weeks, we sold about 18% of them. Not bad. I was a little worried that there would only be 3 or 4 sales after a few weeks, but selling this many cards this quickly, yeah, that definitely works for me. As I'm prepping my orders from a busy weekend of sales, I find something that piqued my interest. A free mystery box. Someone was giving away a box filled with DVDs. Here's the catch though, no pictures. I didn't want to ask for pictures since I'm sure the person giving these movies away would have just moved on to the next person who wanted them. If you're giving something away, you don't really want to deal with taking pictures, you don't want the hassle, you just want whatever it is gone. So I had to go and unravel this mystery myself. One thing I'm hoping for is some movies from the 90s or maybe even older. And whatever is in here, I'm hoping it's not a bunch of romantic comedies. Unfortunately, a lot of comedies, especially comedies that are 10 to 20 years old, they have almost no value at all. After I grabbed the box and started walking to my car, I told myself I was gonna feel the suspense. I wasn't going to open the box until I got home. Let my imagination run wild, just wondering what can possibly... When I got to the car, I immediately opened the box. And from the looks of it, all I see are comedies, and more comedies. This box will have a combined whopping value of $20 or something. That was a complete bust. I'm disappointed, but I mean, it's free. Expectations weren't incredibly high here on this one. I'm planning on going through everything when I get home, and I'll just let you guys know if there's anything worth talking about in this box. Getting home and looking through this free box of $1 treasures, I didn't really feel motivated to list these movies on eBay. Maybe I'll just keep the cases so when I have a cracked DVD case or something, I'll have replacements. After that disappointment, I got some pleasant news. We sold Ace Combat Assault Horizon for about $8 after fees, a Boston Third Stage CD, and a Flashdance CD. Sales are rolling. Now I had two options. I can either look for another DVD deal or redeem myself here from the last lot, or I can look for a binder with cards so I have a binder for my cards that I'm selling on eBay. Let's take a break from DVDs for now. We're gonna find a great binder, I hope. So I looked a few times and wasn't feeling too motivated. Yeah, there's not many binders right now. This was the only one I found that I liked, and I wasn't feeling really too optimistic about it. I sent a message to somebody with a Magic the Gathering and Pokemon card binder, but in the pictures he was showing, it was only showing Magic cards. I don't know. Let's see what he tells me. I'm gonna ask to see the Pokemon cards if he tells me the binder is still available. It's only $20, so I'm sure I can get my money back just by selling the Magic cards. I don't really know what any of these cards are, but I guess we're learning something new again. Anyways, I'll let you guys know if the person answers me. While waiting for an answer, Dark Sector for the Xbox sold for around $7. Iron Maiden CD that we got for free in episode 1 sold for about $17. And David Bowie Best Of CD sold for around $5. And we also sold a Steven Wilson Hand Cannot Erase CD for $9. And most importantly, I was able to get the 3 cards for $185. I want to keep that for the end though. I don't want to spoil it now. Which 3 cards do you guys think I picked up for $185? Let me know in the comments. Okay, the binder guy answered. I asked him to see the Pokemon cards in the collection, and he showed me this. Take a look. So most of the pages he showed me are still Magic cards with some modern Pokemon cards in between. But guys, look at this. Remember when I said I wanted to get some holos at the start of the episode? Well, cue the upbeat Pokemon theme music because, yeah, there's none. There's these cards though. He mentioned he wasn't going to be home and wanted me to transfer the $20 to him so I can just pass by and grab it from outside. He had good feedback on his account, so I just transferred the 20 and went to pick it up. There's actually a lot more cards in here than I thought. And when I got home and went through all the cards in this binder, well, let me just show you guys. So I don't know who owned this before or how they're arranged because they're definitely not in any order that I could see. But there were some really good cards in here. And of course, there's a ton of French cards in here too. And then it happened. Look at these cards. I was expecting to have a bunch more cards to list on eBay, and there are quite a few. I'll need to go through all the Magic cards that are here, since I really don't know how much these cards are worth. But if they're worth as much as these Pokemon cards, they're gonna be good. Look at these cards. This is craziness. Well, I have a binder now for my eBay cards, and now it's time. Let's add all of our cards we picked up to the collection. Wow, I'm still in shock here at the cards from this binder. Oh, and one last thing. The 3 cards I picked up for $185, here they are. A Dragonair, a Venusaur holographic, and a Blastoise. And he even threw in a Dratini for free, which works out pretty good for us because the Dratini we got at the beginning of the episode didn't really look too good. So now, the collection looks pretty respectable right now. In the next episode, I'll have to start building a bigger bankroll to try to get closer to my goal of getting the Charizard. So I'll be looking to list all these magic cards and pick up some DVDs or video games and put them on eBay right away. Or maybe I'll just keep looking for Pokemon binders. That seemed to be working out pretty well for me. It looked like I'd have to wait a while before even thinking about getting the Charizard, but based on how this collection looks now, well, there aren't many Pokemon left to catch. If you've made it this far in the episode, I want to personally thank you for watching. I hope in some way these videos that take me some time to make were entertaining, or maybe they even motivated some of you to start collecting or reselling on the side. Either way, whoever you are, wherever you are, I want you to know that I appreciate you taking the time to come hang out with me for a bit. Thank you again, and I'll see you next episode.